everyone, it's Catherine. As you have experienced, I have done quite a few college Q&As in my time as a YouTuber. The usual gig is I ask for questions, you send in lots of awesome ones, and then I sort of field through them and pick and choose which ones I actually want to answer in the video. That all ends today. It's true, I have been steering clear of some of the questions you've been sending in. It really is time that I open up to some of the more embarrassing or uncomfortable questions for me to answer. And I got all of these from those of you that follow me on Instagram, so they are real, genuine college concerns that I want to get to. Number one, is hookup culture real in college? Yes, until people get into sort of the later years of college, it starts to taper off a little bit as more of your friends get into relationships. Especially for your first few semesters, it's going to feel like it's everywhere. It's not everywhere, but it is a very vocal minority, I would say, on campus that participate in it. I was listening to a podcast where they surveyed college kids, and I think it's like a fraction of the population actually enjoys hookup culture. It's like less than 1/8 of students actually enjoy it that participate in it, but people just kind of do it because that's what you have access to. What I will say is that if you're meeting a guy at a party and you want a relationship, he's not your guy. If you're looking for a relationship, you gotta look elsewhere. 2, another hot one. Will people judge you for being a virgin? Let's be clear, no one ever asked me if I was a virgin going into college, during my first few years of college. It's really only something you deal with internally with yourself. And because the people you live with will most likely be looking for hookups, that can make you feel like you should be doing the same, but it's definitely up to you to determine what you're ready for and what's right for you at the moment. You don't have to have sex at all during college and no one would know. Like, take your time, there is no rush, no one's rushing you. You can only rush yourself is what I'll say. You know, it actually is hard to answer all of the wonderful questions you sent over. Before I answer the rest, if you have more questions, there's actually a great college exclusive social network called Epays that I truly recommend. It's just college kids logged in on there, so no one's gonna judge you or your questions, no matter how specific or embarrassing they are. Just an approachable place to go to when you don't wanna ask them in person. You don't have to think twice about a recruiter or a family member seeing what you're posting about online there. I know if you're watching this, you're probably gonna wanna see much more than what I can cover in this length of a video, so I will have Epays linked below for you to go ahead and check out. I'm collaborating with them on this video because I know it's a platform I would have valued so highly during all of the uncertain times I had. There hasn't really been a place exclusive to college kids, and now there is, and I'm bummed I didn't have access to it sooner. More questions coming at ya. So, how long did it take to actually feel comfortable in college? Great question. Freshmen will usually say they're acclimated within like a few weeks of being at college, but truly, I don't think I got into the real swing of things until probably October or November, which was August, September, October, at least 3 months in, like 3 or 4 months to get acclimated. I don't think I actually had a solid base of friends until the spring semester though. It also probably helped that I was going to school in the same state, so I was still in California. I had that level of comfortability. There's a lot of factors that go into it. If you're going to school internationally, if you're going to school across the country, that can all change things and it might take you a little bit longer to feel comfortable. The secret is everyone's trying to make it look like they're extremely comfortable even if they're not. How do you know what is a good GPA in college? So no one will ever really tell you what a competitive GPA is in college, which is so frustrating because you just want some benchmark to shoot for. In high school, 4.0 was sort of always the goal. I don't think that's at all what you should be shooting for in college because it's a little bit unrealistic. I would say, in my opinion, in Katherout's opinion, you definitely want to be above a 3.0. Like, if you're below a 3.0, you should be working your butt off to get above a 3.0. That's just a really important first digit to have on your GPA. Above a 3.5 is stellar. Like, that'll really carry you. You should feel proud about that. You should feel good about that. If you are above a 3.8, I would say that is very elite, and that will set you up for success in pretty much any industry you want to go into. 3.9 is like, no one can ask more than that. Like, that to me is like, if you have a 3.9, there's no one ever that's gonna reject you. There might be some places that want, you know, above a 3.8, they might want a 3.85. But a 3.9, like if you have that, literally you're untouchable. So I would say that's sort of my range. If you're looking for GPAs to go to grad school, I can't really help you there. How do you tell your roommate they're keeping the room too dirty? Here's the thing, however you do end up telling them, do not do it over text. Have this discussion in person, okay? Suck it up and skip those passive-aggressive texts, even if they're easier to send. Let them know you want them both to feel as comfortable as possible in the room, and at the current moment, you're not really looking forward to spending time in your own space there. And then just ask if there's a good standard time you can set every single week to do like a room roundup and clean everything. At the end of the day, you have to have the expectation that they're never gonna be at your standard if you're a neat freak. At the bare minimum though, their mess should stay by their bed and their closet and like their half of the room and not verge onto your side. If they do mesh into your space, that's when you can get a little bit more passive aggressive. But again, being direct is so much better. Oh my gosh. How do you make friends if you have social anxiety? Here's where I have to be honest. I know it is difficult to leave your comfort zone and go out to dinner or an event with kind of like people that are vaguely your friends, like people you're not really comfortable with yet. But if you choose to stay in your room and you make no concerted effort to go spend time with people, I don't think it's possible in college to make friends. Like you have to put in the effort. Unfortunately, like you do need to take the initiative. You can't wait for someone else to do it for you. Not everyone is really inclusive in college. So if you have an interest in something like a museum or a concert, organize it and invite people and let it be known that you want to hang out. What is it like being at a party if you've never been to one before? So I'd never been to a party until I got to college. I'd never been to one in high school, shocker. Here's the rundown from my perspective again. It's not fun the entire time. You get there, you kind of look around for people you know, and it's usually not a ton of people. You'll probably just end up sticking with the people you came with and just kind of hoping someone new will come up and talk to you or get drinks with you. There will be drinking games happening and dancing. No one will force you to do those things though. Like I've never been forced to do anything I didn't want to do. Kind of up to you what side of the party you take part of. How do you deal with not being able to poop in privacy? I laughed when I read this because it's so relatable. This is a valid concern that I wanted to address in this video. Here's the short and definitive answer. You will get to know which bathrooms in your building and other buildings near the dining hall are most empty most of the time, and you will use those when you know you need to have some private time. How to deal with having sex when you have a roommate. By far the easiest way to do this is just to share your weekly calendars with each other. If you know exactly what time your roommate goes to a club meeting or goes to dinner with a friend or goes to class every day, you'll know when you have the room to yourself, at least during the daytime. If you mean having the room to yourself at night, like after a party, that's something you're gonna have to establish with your roommate before you go out. Specifically, like you need to find a place your roommate is going to sleep if you're not gonna let her sleep there or him sleep there. Just ask like, hey, do you think so-and-so would let you sleep over on Friday night if I wanted to have someone over after a party? Because you can't just expect them to find a floor to sleep on. You have to really initiate that process and do so maybe like 48 hours ahead of time so they have time to prepare and figure out what stuff they need to bring along so they don't disturb you. I am so glad I took the time to answer these more uncomfortable questions. I hope they actually helped you. That's the point of this channel, is to give you that advice that no one ever told me. And of course, if you have more questions, I will 100% answer those down below. But even better, you could put those on ePeers and get like a ton more opinions, not just from me. I'm glad you trust my opinions sometimes, but I'm sure others have better perspectives as well. Subscribe if you want to see more college content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time, and Katherout.